8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news, edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by Indrani Sedanayake. The headlines. First contacts of COVID-19 patients will be placed under home quarantine from today. 280 new cases reported today, bringing the Minuwangoda and Palyagoda clusters total to 4,678. The grand total now stands at 8,152. Switzerland commends Sri Lanka's response to the coronavirus outbreak. Rumours on spreading of coronavirus through fish consumption rejected. Legal action will be taken against squatters in sanctuaries and forest reserves. News from overseas. China tests entire city of Kashgar in Xinjiang after one case. Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva says first contacts of COVID-19 patients will be placed under home quarantine from now on. This decision has been taken for the convenience of the public as there is congestion at quarantine centres. The Ministry of Health confirms that another 280 new cases have been reported today from the Minuwangoda and Palyagoda clusters. 15 of them are from quarantine centres, while the remaining 265 are contacts of positive patients from the two clusters. This brings the total number of confirmed cases reported from the Minuwangoda and Palyagoda clusters to 4,678. The death toll from the virus is 16. As per the Epidemiology Unit of the Health Ministry, out of the total 8,152 cases recorded in the country, 4,203 are currently receiving medical care at selected hospitals. In addition, 527 people are under medical supervision at several hospitals over suspected symptoms. Meanwhile, State Minister Channa Jayasumana says that a system has been arranged to deliver medicine to households where the quarantine curfew has been enforced. Calling on Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa in Colombo this morning, Ambassador of Switzerland to Sri Lanka, Dominic Fergler, discussed a number of cases to further enhance cooperation between the two countries, including investment, exports, tourism, and fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. The ambassador commended the manner in which the government is responding to the coronavirus outbreak by publishing clear rules and enforcing them. Prime Minister Rajapaksa said that while lockdowns and health precautions can be difficult on everyone, sometimes it's necessary to keep people safe. The Swiss government is providing assistance to Sri Lanka with equipment which could enable faster PCR tests at the airport. This is also a part of the collaboration to try to revive tourism to Sri Lanka once the situation improves. The two delegations also discussed investments and exports. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Minister Mahinda Amaravira says that legal action will be taken against people who have illegally acquired lands belonging to sanctuaries and forest reserves. He said that unauthorized structures at those lands will be removed. Minister Amaravira said that a cabinet paper will be submitted in due course with the agreement of Lands, Environment and Wildlife Ministries. Minister Amaravira pointed out that it has become difficult to evict illegal occupants since specific boundaries have not been marked. It has been decided to bring lands that are not forest lands under the purview of the district secretaries. Ratana Sutra is chanted from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. at all temples in the country. It has been organized by the Ministry of Cultural and Religious Affairs and the Department of Buddhist Affairs, led by the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Reciting of the Ratana Sutra will take place to minimize the impact of the coronavirus and other problems which have an influence on civilian life. The SLBC, the Ministry of Religious Affairs and the Department of Buddhist Affairs requests all chief monks of the temples to relay the Ratana Sutra using loudspeakers. It will conclude on Wat Full Moon Poya Day on Friday. Next, the main news story.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidya Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya.
A look at the main news story. Head of the Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Sudha Samarabira, says that although the coronavirus infected persons are reported, it is not at community transmission level at present. He was speaking at a media briefing in Colombo today. He said that there is no truth in the rumours that eating fish would spread the virus. Deputy Director General of Health Services, Dr. Ananda Jayalal, said attention has been paid on conducting more PCR tests. Dr. Hemanta Herat said that neighbours of those who are under quarantine should not entertain unnecessary fears. That was the main news story. Watchlight is up next.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Watchlight. The Government Medical Officers Association says that there is a risk of a crisis in the country if steps are not taken to control the spread of the COVID-19 virus under a new methodology. Speaking to the media, GMOA spokesman Dr. Haritha Aludge said that Sri Lanka is now on the verge of a community spread. Nearly 300 new cases were identified yesterday, and the majority among them has been identified from the general society. He said if Sri Lanka reaches a community spread, there will be congestion in intensive care units. In turn, the death toll will increase abnormally. That came to in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news will follow. We take a look at the headlines. China tests entire city of Kashgar in Xinjiang after one case. Turkey's Erdogan urges boycott of French goods. Pakistan's PM asks Facebook to ban Islamophobia content. China is once again mass testing an entire city for the coronavirus amid a regional outbreak in Xinjiang province. Around 4.7 million people in Kashgar are being tested, with 138 systematic cases found so far. China has been largely successful in bringing infection rates down, but there continues to be small outbreaks. Xinjiang is home to China's mostly Muslim Uyghur minority, which right groups say is being persecuted by the government in Beijing. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has called on Turks to boycott French goods amid a row over France's tough stance on radical Islam. In a televised speech, he urged world leaders to protect Muslims if there is oppression against Muslims in France. Mr. Erdogan has angrily criticized his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron for pledging to defend secular values. It comes against a French teacher who was murdered for showing cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad in class. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has written a letter to Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, asking him to put a ban on Islamophobia content. In the letter, Mr. Khan said growing Islamophobia was encouraging hate, extremism and violence, especially through the use of social media. It comes a day after Mr. Khan accused French President Emmanuel Macron of attacking Islam. Facebook already has a policy of removing hate speech on its platforms. To end this bulletin of world news, we take a look at the headlines again. China tests entire city of Kashgar in Xinjiang after one case. Turkey's Erdogan urges boycott of French goods. Pakistan's PM asks Facebook to ban Islamophobic content. That ends this bulletin of world news. Development news follows.
Development News is brought to you by...
My wife always sets a full lunch table, even if it's just the two of us. She always expects people to drop by, like maybe the army.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan neveyi.
On to development news. Construction work on the first phase of the road from Haliela to Maspenna on the Badulla Kandy Rajamawatha road commenced recently. It is the shortest and most alternative route from Badulla to Rajamawatha and can be used to travel from Badulla to Kandy after the construction of the section from Haliela to Katawala, Maspanna and Kirti Bandarapura in line with the national program of developing 100,000 kilometers under the Vision of Prosperity program launched by the President. At the first phase, the construction of a 25-kilometer stretch from Haliela to Maspanna commenced. This is expected to cost around 1,375 million rupees. That was a look at development news. Next, we have sports news.
When Tati bought a new family car, it wasn't just for the four of us.
It's a 10-seater van. Enough for friends and relatives too.
Mummy insisted on building an extra room in our new house. Well, you never know who'll come to stay. We need more pillows too.
When I was studying late, Nangi would come by to help.
No, I don't know physics, but I do know you need a Munchie Super Cream Cracker.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others.
When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves.
Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan neveyi.
Sports News is brought to you by
Munchie Chocolate Cream Biscuit. Chocolate in every bite.
On to sports news. England's Ben Stokes has dedicated his unbeaten 107 for the Rajasthan Royals to his father Jed, who is ill in New Zealand. In August, Stokes Sr. revealed he had been diagnosed with brain cancer. The England captain spent time with his family before travelling to play in the Indian Premier League. Stokes' performance led the Royals to an 8-wicket victory over Mumbai Indians to keep their IPL hopes alive. That will look at sports news. Business news follows.
Hey guys, we've got our very own Queen Bear here to review something for us.
Okay, here we go. It's the right amount of crunch and OMG, so much chocolate. The texture is so good. It's creamy and velvety and just so much chocolate. The packaging is super cool and new and there's like so much chocolate. And OMG, the taste, it tastes like so good and there's so much chocolate. Like with every bite. 10 out of 10 for me.
Munchie Chocolate Cream Biscuit. Chocolate in every bite.
Empower your dreams with NSV Wings. NSV Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Dwarka, a pure vegetarian venue for authentic North and South Indian flavours, opened their second restaurant at Old Quarry Road and Mount Lavinia recently. The fully air-conditioned restaurant has a spacious dining area that could accommodate 100 persons with all modern facilities. In a move to be totally Indian in what is prepared, Dwarka employs chefs brought in from India a few months ago that specialize in South Indian and North Indian cuisine. It offers more than a fine dining experience for a family with convenience and comforts. That was a look at business news. Economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The wait is over and it's time for you to experience happiness. It's time to remap the graph for success. It's time to rebuild your empire. It's time to initiate your entrepreneur dreams. Empower your dreams with NSV Wings. Get your 2-year personal loan for just 7% per annum, starting from 500,000 rupees to 10 million rupees. All you need is just one guarantee. NSV Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
On to economic news. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is forecasting a somewhat less severe recession than it predicted in June. The change in the outlook applies to both the global economy and the UK. But the IMF says in its World Economic Outlook that the global economy is still in a deep recession and the risk of a worse outcome than it in its new forecast is sizable. That was economic news. Finally, we take a look at the weather.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The weather report: showers or thunder showers will occur tomorrow at several places in the north central, eastern and Uva provinces and in the Hambantota, Mullaitivu, Vavuniya and Matale districts. Fairly heavy falls above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places, particularly in the Uva province and in the Hambantota district. Showers may occur at a few places in the western and Sabaragama provinces and in the Gaul and Matara districts. That was a look at the weather report. To end tonight's news broadcast, we take a look at the headlines again. First contacts of COVID-19 patients will be placed under home quarantine from today. 280 new cases reported today, bringing the Minuwangoda and Palyagoda clusters total to 4,678. The grand total now stands at 8,152. Switzerland commends Sri Lanka's response to the coronavirus outbreak. Rumours on spreading of coronavirus through fish consumption rejected. Legal action will be taken against squatters in sanctuaries and forest reserves. And news from overseas: China tests entire city of Kashgar in Xinjiang after one case.